Hello everybody, Kane here today with our little Jurassic World Reborn exhibit build video type thing. I still don't really know what to call these. But today we're doing a combo exhibit type thing. Not really a combo exhibit, but two exhibits in one video, and that is the Diplocalis and the Mawsonia. Although later you'll see the Mawsonia exhibit also gets Coelacanth because I needed something else in there as well to fill up the space a bit more. But the general idea of this exhibit was to build a tunnel, an underwater viewing tunnel thing, because I kind of started doing that with the Crest of Uranus, and I thought it'd be cool to do an actual full one, and allowed me to fill up this middle space in here with some big tank, which is where we're gonna end up throwing the Mawsonia because, well, why not? It's a really big fish that looks cool. So yeah, I think this build turns out to be pretty interesting. It was pretty fun to build, actually. More fun than I was kind of expecting it to be. We also do a couple of really big custom trees in this one. Well, one of them is a fallen over tree, and the other's just like this massive kind of, I don't know what kind of tree you'd call it. I guess kind of like a giant mangrove tree, maybe. You know, maybe we'll see. Well, yeah, you will see it be built, but I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think it is in the comments down below. But yeah, here you can see me constructing the tunnel. Now, the funny thing is, the Diplocalis exhibit is actually only viewable from the tunnel. So you actually have to go all the way through it to see all the animals. Whereas the Mawsonia actually has two viewing areas, one right by that second entrance, and another, obviously, with the underwater tunnel. Which, I don't know, I thought that was a bit of a cool way to do it. That way, I don't know, this... Planning this exhibit was a bit weird, in all honesty, because at first I was like, oh, I'm just going to build the Diplocalis, and it's going to have a big, just tunnel going through the middle of the exhibit, but then that interfered with my Mawsonia exhibit ideas. So, neither of the animals can really swim over the top of the tunnel, so it kind of made the tunnel a tiny bit pointless, but I still think it looks super cool in the end. Yeah, oh, and one thing you guys will definitely get to see is I tried out a different shader with this. Ironically, I tried out a different shader because I liked the look of the water better, but for some reason, these two exhibits just didn't look good with that shader, which is really weird to me because it looked better with both the previous underwater exhibits. So yeah, for some reason, Sildur's looked a bit better with it. So anyway, that's kind of an irrelevant point. But at any rate, that's something we're gonna do a bit later. Yeah. Also, I did do most of the underwater decorating and stuff after the time lapse was finished, just because, well, I realized in the last two, you can't really see what I'm doing under there, like adding in all the algae and stuff. None of that really shows up all that well in the time lapse, so I figured, you know, what's the point really in trying to show all that if you guys can't really see it anyway? So I decided to do that all after the time lapse because I felt that made a bit more sense. Anyway, here you can see my realization that I need to cut off the exhibit, so I'm throwing a big stone wall in between the two, which I think actually works out really well. It adds a bit of interest to the top of the viewing area and makes it look a bit cooler in my opinion. But yeah, the Diplocalis, again, like I've said it the past couple, it's funny watching these because both of these change so much by the end of the build, and just so much stuff changes with them. I'm probably also not going to talk too much for this episode. My voice isn't feeling all that great. Just a wee bit tired. Been a very long week, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, these exhibits, they're kind of in the same style as usual. The same kind of swampy build we've been doing for the past few builds, and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's been a lot of fun, and I guess both of these, for those of you who watch the Wildlife Park series and are excited for the next park, which is an aquarium, this is, I guess, a bit of a preview of some of the styles we'll be using for some of the exhibits. Obviously, most of the tanks probably won't be as big as this because, you know, in this case, we're dealing with oversized amphibians and coelacanths, but you guys know what I mean. This is kind of practice for the aquarium, which is why I'm doing so many of these. But yeah, I don't really think I have too much else to talk about. My voice still kind of hurts, so I'm gonna let the rest of the time lapse play out, and I'll catch back up with you guys to show off the final build. All right, everybody, here we are with the exhibit tour. So you'll notice I did change the shaders up because this shader pack actually has way cooler water stuff. So yeah, I also, as you can quickly see here, built up most of the tunnels, added in a bunch of trees and all that. So it's a bit more complete than it was in the time lapse. Anyway, heading inside. Oh, I also added Coelacanth to the Mawsonia exhibit because we needed some more fish in here, and oh, that is so cool looking. So cool looking just to see them swimming around. Visibility is about as good as it was with the other shaders on. To be honest, this exhibit doesn't work the greatest with the shaders, which is kind of unfortunate. It's like in certain areas it works really well, in others it doesn't. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I've got like the Beelzebufo and all the other ones in, so if we quickly head over here, you get a better idea of how it usually looks, like this, which is actually really cool looking. And with the Crested Uranus, it looks absolutely fantastic. Yep, especially if we can get them swimming like right there. They look really cool with this shader pack, and I think one of them died. That's unfortunate. But coming over here is the Diplocalis exhibit, and I love this little window we threw in. I don't know how well that showed up on the time lapse. But yeah, I don't know why I wanted to do that, but I think it was a cool little idea. And then of course we have the underwater viewing area, which, I mean, I think that looks super cool. I love the giant tree. The tree is by far my favorite thing in this. I don't know, it's interesting and looks different. But yeah, these guys are absolutely ginormous. They don't really swim around all too much, but yeah, they look pretty cool. Look pretty cool indeed. And then of course you got another view into the Mawsonia exhibit, which looks pretty good. And like right here, this is how it's supposed to look. But then you go like one over and suddenly it's like impossible to see in there, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that is the build so far. So yeah. And again, obviously the reason I chose to do 2 exhibits in one video today was just because, well, I wanted to do that underwater tunnel, and that was the easiest way. It felt like it made more sense to make one video with both than 2 separate videos on the same basic idea, so yeah. But yeah, overall, I think it turned out pretty cool. Oh, I really like the trees for these builds. I think this one looks super cool, having this big old custom tree in the middle of the exhibit, and then this big old fallen log tree thing. Very fun, very cool. But yeah, you know what, let's quickly put on the, I'm using, by the way, Chocopix, but let's throw on the cilders and just check how that looks from the tunnels, because I don't actually think I've checked it out with these shaders on. Yeah, you know, this exhibit looks a bit better, I think. I think this one looks slightly better with the cilders rather than the Chocopix. Both look really cool though. I think it's more just like kind of this exhibit, and then yeah, I don't know, both are really cool. I do like the Chocopix a bit more. It's just got a bit more flair to it than this one does, but both are very awesome. Both have really good effects. And yeah, I think that's all I've really got to show. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And yeah, next episode we'll hopefully well, I'm thinking we'll either do Baryonyx, Suchomimus, or maybe even Spinosaurus. So yeah, let me know which of those you guys are most interested in seeing, and until next time, guys. See ya.